The BBC has reported that there are currently around 6 young carers to every secondary school classroom, ranging from young children up to young adults. These kids help care for their parents or siblings, or sometimes both. We investigated young carers in the West Oxfordshire town of Witney and interviewed 2 young carers, Harrison and Sophia. We are going to find out what their lives are like caring for their families and whether there are enough resources available to them.
As I was starting secondary school, I was registered, but I've been caring for my parents and sister since as long as I can remember. It goes from the basics of just making sure my parents are taking their meds, all the way to sometimes I'll cook for my sister, make sure uniforms are ironed, house is clean. It ranges. It's something you're always doing, and some days you don't do anything, some days you do a fair bit. So I'm always caring. It's just some days I don't have to worry about it as much. Witney is quite low on the young carers stuff. The nearest we get is Diploma. There's a young carers place there. It is hard to find time out the house and relax because obviously college, I'm an expat, work. So trying to balance everything as well as caring for my parents, it is a challenge.
Young carers between 16 and 18 are twice as likely not to be in education, employment or training, and are 4 times as likely to drop out of college or university as other students. 56% of them said that they were struggling in their caring role, and 45% report that they have mental health problems.
I've been a young carer, I guess, ever since I was born. My brother was diagnosed with autism since he was 12, so obviously he's now 29, so it's quite an age difference. So yeah, I guess I was born into it. Recently, my dad was diagnosed with autism as well. But unlike some young carers, I don't necessarily have as much physical responsibilities, so it's not like I have to dress people. It's more I have to be there for people, I guess, mentally, and just be a support because my mum has to deal with a lot, so I guess I'm kind of like a backup for her and just kind of like a voice to listen. And then the mental strain it comes with is pretty damn heavy, and that's why I got support within school, so I could talk to somebody to express how I'm feeling, express what I have to do at home. I think unfortunately in Witney, because it's such a small town, there isn't actually much that's accessible. I think there's a lot of people out there who are young carers and it doesn't get spoken about a lot. Therefore I think there should be more, I don't know, whether it just be a club or anything, where people can go and talk to each other and see how they're dealing, which would be quite eye-opening for a lot of people and helpful.
We also interviewed the director of Be Free Young Carers, an organisation in Didcot that aims to give them the support and a break from their caring duties.
The issue with young carers is of course that whilst they're caring for a family member, they still have to go to school, they still have to develop as a child, and they have needs of their own, as it were. So caring for a family member can be really stressful. The high proportion of our young carers are clearly suffering from anxiety, stress, isolation and depression. In amongst talking about what's on television, what's on what records and music they're listening to, they'll talk about how they handled mum's seizure last night. We also provide them or offer them training in key skills like first aid, cookery and nutrition and relaxation. They need to know what to do in an emergency. And they need to have confidence to look after themselves in the home as well. We have young carers washing and dressing their parents, and you have to think to yourself, how appropriate is that? And we have young carers administering medicine on a daily basis, responsible for going to get that medicine from the chemist, doing cooking, washing, dressing. It's remarkable what they do on a daily basis. I think it comes back to funding. At the end of the day, if we had more resources, we could do more.
Young carers are vital to the lives of so many families, but they have a tough job. Creating spaces that they can go to have time of their own is paramount. But for those in Witney, their nearest young carer centre is 20 miles away, which is just not realistic for many. Since government funding has fallen by a third for young carers, they now rely on charities to give them the help they need.